manager will be your presenter today. Tom Fitzgerald is a subject matter expert in both Capture and SharePoint and is here to assist me with any questions you might have. Submit questions at any time using the chat feature available through WebEx or by sending an email to Jim Lanigan. Jim can also be of assistance with any audio or login difficulties. Our focus for today will be to discuss the challenges that we all face with paper handling and why it makes sense to deploy Capture automation. We will show you the components of our solution, discuss issues that we all share, and then demonstrate the benefits of intelligent capture. We have extensive experience with capture automation and content enablement. We are business partners with both IBM and Microsoft, and most renowned for our managed pay accounts payable automation solution that leverages intelligent capture, workflow, and analytics to manage the entire receipt-to-pay process. You can see from our core competencies that we bring business knowledge together with technical skills to deliver value-added solutions. I'm your IBM business partner. We hold many technical certifications on both Datacap and FileNet. I also have a partnership with Microsoft. We use SharePoint as our internal corporate repository and assist our customers with their SharePoint deployment. Our mission is to provide solutions to our customers to enable them to improve their business processes, ultimately save time and money, and help them to provide a better offering for their customers. We provide a competitive advantage to companies by enabling them to efficiently capture, activate, socialize, analyze, and govern content and other unstructured information to then focus on capture and activate. Let's come to discussing the business challenges associated with paper handling. I believe most people participating in this webinar would agree that SharePoint is widely recognized as a great collection tool, and being used as such has become a content repository. However, in order for SharePoint to truly serve this purpose, it means that we have the capability not only storing electronic content, but also efficiently carrying paper documents into the same repository. If we look at why we'd want to automate capture, we could see the benefits that could be derived by capturing and indexing paper, fax, and email. So first of all, would eliminate the cumbersome activities associated with paper handling and manual data entry. Save costs by doing away with copying and shipping. And ultimately, we would be able to eliminate the errors derived by manually keying in data. In order to accomplish our goals, we need to have a solution that can effectively ingest the vast quantities of paper, faxes, and emails that's processed to support our unique line of business. Our solution must be able to extract information from all types of input, be able to differentiate one type of document from another, perform validation, and then automatically file documents and data into SharePoint, all with the least amount of human intervention. Think of it. If you virtually eliminate the cumbersome task of scanning and then store the content in SharePoint, you can increase productivity, reduce the cost of paper handling, and provide immediate access to information. You can also automatically check information by performing lookups and applying validation rules, improving the accuracy of your data, and adding accurate data for subsequent reporting and analytics. Ultimately, your organization would maintain better document control, improve customer service by having a complete repository of information to query, and last but not least, establish audit controls to even maintain compliance standards. In order to accomplish these objectives, the intelligent capture solution must have strong internal controls and follow best practices. It must be scalable, streamlined to manage costs, and it must provide access and visibility into the content, including audit trails. At least, you also need to have a flexible licensing model to accommodate a variety of requirements. Look at where our solution is derived and their position in the market. Both Microsoft and IBM are market leaders in enterprise content management, shown by Gartner's Magic Quadrant. We're participating in this webinar have selected SharePoint. We want to show you how to enhance your system with IBM's Datacap. Take a look at the time it takes on average to manually process a variety of document types. If you extrapolate any of these numbers based on your line of business, you'll probably see that we each spend hours on data entry where that time could be repurposed to your line of business activities. I'd like to tell you how to move your focus and energy from data entry to knowledge work. Here's an example of the major issues driving AP automation. Ability to access data within paper invoices, the high cost associated with data entry, and not having a single repository to find all of your business content. The issues, ability to capture content from paper, fax, and email, and store the content along with other line of business data. For the evolution of capture, we can see that the first two stages focused on basic scanning and recognition. Really needed to be effective in accomplishing these goals is to have intelligent data extraction, being able to use rules to automate the extraction process, have the ability to distribute capture, allowing various tasks to be performed anywhere, and ultimately having an enterprise-capable solution that can ingest paper, faxes, and email through a common process. Because any type of document can be processed from any location. Okay, let's take a look at some specific examples. Examples of the type of documents that you probably are working with that can be processed with intelligent capture. Every industry, as you can see, has a variety of types that each need to be recognized and processed, each in consideration of unique characteristics. Take a look at the components of our solution. First, regardless of the source, paper, fax, or email, we want to be able to process our content. Here's an example of the requirements to capture both header information from an invoice as well as line item detail. It's not simply the ability to extract information, but also the ability to validate information, classify or remember the layout of the document for the next time, and be able to store the content automatically in SharePoint. What we want to be able to do is enhance our current ability to capture electronic documents into SharePoint with the ability to scan documents, receive faxes and emails through a single interface, and then store those documents and data into SharePoint as well. Provide us with a comprehensive library of images and data for subsequent processing, searching, and reporting in support of your business. Here's an example of an invoice and the fields that can be automatically extracted and validated without manual intervention. Here's a manifest that's used for environmental protection to report on the transportation of regulated materials. These data elements can be used later for reporting and fee collection. Here's an example of a CMS 1500 claims form for healthcare. as well as the VO4. Each document has extensive amounts of useful information that's probably being ignored because of the difficulty in forming the data entry. Let's see if we can solve that problem. Take a look at our Datacap intelligent capture solution and see how it can be used seamlessly to store content into SharePoint. An example of the job monitor. So this is what we first see when we log in. It's a tool that allows you to see all of the batches and the status of those batches. The steps in the process are to scan, to call batch profiler, where the OCR functions are performed, verify, where you validate any information that's in question, and the export, where the data and images are released to SharePoint. You can then, it's quite easy to see the workload that's available and the state that each batch is in. Users log in with their appropriate security credentials and then select the function that they'd like to perform. What we're going to do today is the verify function. Any batches which have been put on hold are first displayed, so the user could see if there are batches with issues. To work on a new batch, we would simply pick run, run pending. It's an example of what the screen looks like when it comes up for verify. There's a toolbar that contains options which allows the user to select, change the look and feel of the screen itself, to be able to navigate through the batch or document. The user can click on the Taskmaster icon and choose to put a batch on hold if that is a document in question. Here again is the verify screen. I'd like to just take a minute to familiarize everyone with the different components. So the first area is the batch view that shows the user how many documents are within a batch. Whether or not those documents have more than one page. The image view displays the image of documents within the batch. And the data entry area is the area that's used to verify information. Here you can see that both a snippet of the image as well as the data that's being extracted is presented to the user for easy validation. The system has the ability to perform lookup based on any of the fields that are selected to validate that the information is in fact correct. Has the ability to extract line item detail. The data tree area, again, contains the data from the document itself. Taskmaster will highlight low confidence fields in yellow, bringing to the attention of the user. If it's highlighted in pink, it means that there's a potential error. So Taskmaster may not have been able to read the data accurately, or based on the validation rule that has been established, there may be a question. So here you can see that from the invoice itself, the system was able to automatically read all of the line item detail there and only had a question about one particular item. So look at that item number itself, we can see that it is in fact correct. No correction would need to occur. Here's an example where we found an incorrect date. So there's a leap year in 2009. So drawing that to our attention to ensure we have a valid date. Any field that being extracted could use standard validation, such as a date validation, or there can be an intelligent validation, such as look at the vendor number to see if that vendor is in fact an authorized vendor. Also do mathematical calculations. So perform these calculations on each line item by multiplying the quantities by the price to make sure that the total is in fact correct. The total will be highlighted in red if there is in fact a question. here is a good example of snippets. So snippets are displayed above each field, and they are basically a cutout section from the actual image where it has been captured. So the user is able to zoom in and out and adjust the snippets, but the value of them is it draws your attention to the actual data that needs to be verified. So the user doesn't have to go back and forth between the image and data that's being extracted. So here's an example of a zip code, and you can see where it's been derived and the fact that it was able to read that successfully. For example, I'd like to just really focus on the fact that we're able to capture all of the line item details and validate the information that's being extracted. So you can see each line item from this invoice on the right has been extracted. And you can see that it has, in fact, accurately picked up item ID, the description, the quantity, and price for each of these line items. Here's an example of an invoice for a vendor that the system has not seen before. So these fields have been captured, but there's no detail around the vendor number here. So what we'll do is by saying an S in the vendor field, it will look up on the vendors that are authorized within our system, and we see that we actually have Stewart Apothecary in the system. By selecting that, then we can infer other information about the vendor without having to key in that information. So we can move forward knowing in confidence that we have the proper information for the vendor. Forward, the system will be able to recognize subsequent documents that come Stewart, and it will know to recognize the vendor name. Once I've mapped all the fields on the first line of an invoice, I can also find the details to retrieve the data from the other lines. You can see that once I've mapped one line, I could quickly get all of the other lines of information. So pressing Find Detail, the system will extract the other lines of information. The invoices come in or any type of document, if you can map out the location of one line, then the system will automatically remember that. It's called fingerprint for subsequent processing. One of the issues within the batch have been corrected. The user will be prompted to submit the invoice, and the next invoice will be displayed to the user. The batch can now be passed to the scenes to the export step, where it will release the content that we've been extracting and validating along with the image into SharePoint. The user can then go on to verify another batch. Okay, so at this point, the documents and the associated metadata have now been stored in SharePoint. Along the SharePoint, we can navigate to our accounts payable library. We have the ability to now query specific documents or sets of documents that have just been scanned in. With our target accounts payable library, you can see that we also have two additional libraries that separate invoices from other vendor information. These can be searched simultaneously or individually. We have the ability to search on specific metadata that was extracted during our capture process, including properties such as vendor name, vendor number. If selected to query both the invoice library and the vendor library so that we can answer a customer service inquiry from XYZ hardware. Results show when contracts and other vendor information is available to us, as well as a series of invoices that have been scanned. You see that the metadata or index properties extracted during the capture process is also visible, making it easy to see which invoices have been paid, which were on hold or in progress. So here it's like the vendor may have submitted a duplicate invoice, which is why one of the documents is on hold for investigation. So for our customer service inquiry, we select images from our result set. So we take a look at the invoice itself as well as the associated contract. So having contracts probably stored electronically previously, in addition now to the invoices that were scanned along with the metadata, allows us to handle that customer service inquiry right then and there, providing cost-efficient answer to the customer. Once it's stored into SharePoint, you could also use the standard SharePoint navigation. So you could select the invoice library to view documents. You can see that we built a view that was created to show all of the relevant properties associated with the documents that we've captured, and all the information was automatically extracted from those documents through a solution, and that's now accessible within SharePoint. You see the invoice number, invoice date, vendor number, vendor date, amount, and stats are all available, providing a more comprehensive search capability. We also use the standard features here now by centering on vendor name, so we can go and select the documents related to XYZ hardware, and then our subset within the library just to those documents. We also individually search on vendor information and see contract information or deny whatever agreements are available for that vendor for subsequent research. And finally, we've used the all-site searching capability to search documents by the data that was automatically captured during our scanning process. So this will search across all libraries. Here you can see the same data is being brought back, both a combination of vendor information as well as invoices with the data that was extracted by Datacap highlighted. Hopefully, we've been able to show you how you can save time, labor, and money while improving productivity and your bottom line with Datacap's intelligent capture to populate your SharePoint repository. The solution is not difficult to implement. We can have you up and running in a few weeks. So please call to find out how. And then we can entertain any questions that you might have. We've got a few questions here. So the first is, can Datacap be used to populate other systems? In addition to what we've demonstrated today, you can only release your content into SharePoint, but you could also use the same software to populate your other line of business repository. So they could be ERP system or database system. Here's a question about licensing. So the question is Datacap limited by the number of pages scanned? So the answer there is no. This solution is licensed by user, so it's unlimited. You can ingest fax and email without any limitation. Our question, somewhat related, this is about scalability. This is absolutely scalable. Since it's user-based, you could add your capability to ingest increased volume by simply adding another user. Or based on the type of content you're ingesting, be it paper, fax, or email, additional processing capability can be used to classify, to do the extraction, or to different types of validation. Well, one more minute if any other questions have come in. If not, we would welcome the opportunity to speak to you further about your specific business requirements and the applicability of what we demonstrated today. If you have any questions, you're welcome to contact me directly about our Quick Start program, and also contact Jim Lanigan for a copy of our presentation, which will also be posting on the website. Thank you very much for your time and attention today. I look forward to speaking with you.